Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers. Did Kristina's baby live? Agent John Cates steals newborn in plan to bring Sunny down. General Hospital, GH. Spoilers suggest Kristina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy, life dramatically changed after that fateful day she went to confront Ava Jerome, Maura West. The Metro Court pool incident not only caused her to lose baby Irene Marie, but she's been thrust into her dad's drama with a certain FBI agent too. John Jagger Cates, Adam J. Harrington, has an over-the-top vendetta against Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard. So much so that he hauled Kristina in on charges that pertain to the Metro Court pool incident and pinned her for the death of her own baby. John was betting on the idea that Sonny would relent and turn himself in to save his daughter any legal grief, especially considering her current circumstances. He was holding the potential legal case against Kristina over the mob boss's head and crossing a ton of lines by using his FBI agent status. John was very quick to arrest Kristina. She was being wheeled out of the hospital to head home after the loss of her baby when he arrived on scene to handcuff and bring her in. It's almost like he had all his ducks lined in a row and knew what to anticipate. This begs the question, how was John so organized with it, all considering the chain events that shocked everyone, including fans? Could John have organized Kristina's baby's death? Could the infant still be alive? He's proven himself to be a dastardly villain as of late. In fact, John has evolved considerably upon arriving in Port Charles. He's absolutely nothing like the Jagger fans once knew back in the day, but moreover, he's transformed into quite a vile individual. After all, Agent Boyle, Amor Owens, mentioned the dirt he had hanging over her head, plus organizing Ava Jerome's Maura West death after the two made love. He's crossing lines, left, right, and center. Who's to say he didn't throw his badge around, pay a nurse/doctor off for the baby, and for them to claim the baby died? General Hospital spoilers hint that with John's shooting, fans should anticipate a plethora of storyline plot twists. Many viewers have felt as if the surrogacy storyline ended on a terrible note with Irene Marie's passing. Could GH rewrite this wrong by revealing the baby is actually alive? The quiet hum of machines echoed in the dimly lit hospital room as Kristina Corinthos Davis lay motionless, her body still recovering from the ordeal of childbirth. Her normally lively eyes were closed, her face pale and serene, as if she were sleeping through the aftermath of a nightmare. The doctors had assured her family that Kristina would pull through, but the same could not be said for her newborn child. Or so they believed. The Corinthos clan was shattered. Sonny Corinthos, the formidable mob boss who had faced down countless threats, was now a broken man. His daughter's life hung in the balance, and his grandchild, Kristina's firstborn, had been declared dead shortly after birth. The loss weighed heavily on the family, leaving them in a state of collective shock and grief. But as with all things in Port Charles, nothing is ever as it seems. Unbeknownst to Sonny and the rest of the Corinthos family, a sinister plot was unfolding in the shadows. Agent John Cates, a man with a vendetta as deep as the ocean, was at the center of it all. He had been working undercover for years, embedded within various criminal circles, always one step behind Sonny, always yearning for the chance to take him down. But Sonny was a master of the game, always outmaneuvering his enemies. Until now. Cates had been watching, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike, and Kristina's pregnancy had presented the chance he needed. He knew that the birth of Sonny's grandchild would be a moment of vulnerability, a moment when Sonny's guard would be down. The plan he concocted was ruthless, and its execution was flawless. The night Kristina went into labor was a blur of chaos. The Corinthos family had rushed to the hospital, nerves frayed as they awaited the birth. Meanwhile, Cates had already positioned himself within the hospital, using his connections to manipulate the situation to his advantage. He had bribed a nurse, a woman with her own dark secrets, to do his bidding. The plan was simple. Once the baby was born, the nurse would declare the child stillborn, and in the confusion that followed, she would switch the lifeless infant with a healthy one. As planned, the baby was whisked away moments after birth, the nurse informing a devastated Sonny and the rest of the family that the child hadn't survived. The switch was seamless, and the real Corinthos baby was placed in the care of Cates, who quickly spirited the newborn away to an undisclosed location. Back in the hospital, Sonny's grief was palpable. He had always been a man of action, someone who could fix any problem with the right amount of force or finesse, but this was different. There was no enemy to confront, no battle to win. This was pure, unadulterated loss, and it cut deeper than any bullet wound ever could. Carly, Kristina's mother, was inconsolable, her sobs echoing through the sterile halls of General Hospital. Michael, Jocelyn, and Dante tried to hold it together, each one grappling with their own sense of helplessness. Kristina, still unconscious, was unaware of the tragedy that had befallen her child. The doctors kept her sedated, fearing that the shock of learning her baby had died might cause further complications in her already fragile state. Alexis, her mother, sat vigil by her bedside, praying for a miracle. Meanwhile, Agent Cates cradled the tiny infant in his arms, marveling at the power this child held. This was Sonny Corinthos' grandchild, a living, breathing link to the man he despised. Cates knew the infant was innocent, a pawn in a much larger game, but that didn't matter. The child was the key to Sonny's downfall, and Cates intended to use it to his full advantage. Cates had already put the next phase of his plan into motion. The baby had been placed with a trusted associate, a woman who specialized in black market adoptions. The child's identity would be erased, his lineage hidden from the world. In time, the baby would be adopted by a family far away from Port Charles, somewhere Sonny's reach would never extend. Cates had considered keeping the child closer, perhaps even raising it himself as a final act of revenge, but he decided against it. The risk was too great, and Cates was nothing if not cautious. As the days passed, the Corinthos family struggled to come to terms with their loss. Kristina eventually awoke, and the news of her baby's death shattered her. She was inconsolable, her grief manifesting in anger and despair. Sonny, despite his own pain, tried to be there for her, but nothing he said could ease her suffering. The bond between father and daughter, once strong, began to fray under the weight of their shared tragedy. But as time went on, subtle clues began to emerge, hints that perhaps not everything was as it seemed. Carly, always suspicious, began to notice inconsistencies in the hospital staff's accounts of that night. She overheard a conversation between two nurses, one of whom mentioned a strange occurrence in the delivery room. Carly's instincts told her something was off, and she started digging. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan, Sonny's right-hand man, had been conducting his own investigation. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story, and his suspicions only grew when he learned of a mysterious transfer of funds to a hospital employee's account. The deeper Jason dug, the more convinced he became that the baby had not died that night. The truth was slowly unraveling, but time was running out. Cates had covered his tracks well, and any misstep could alert him to the fact that his plan was being uncovered. But Jason was relentless, and with Carly's help, they began to piece together the truth. As they got closer to the truth, the danger grew. Cates was a man with nothing to lose, and he would do anything to protect his plan. But Jason and Carly were equally determined, fueled by the need to bring Kristina's baby home. and to finally bring an end to Kate's twisted vendetta. In the end, the question remained, would they find the baby in time, or would Kate's plan to destroy Sunny succeed? The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome would change the Corinthos family forever.